Hey guys, it's Barb, halfway to sane, where it's true crime all the time. And today we have a story that happened about a week ago. Very depressing, sad. It's what makes you feel like you're going insane. So this story happened with a 3-year-old little boy. Who his aunt was involved in the death. So I'm just going to go ahead and read you the story that I came across. So it says a woman accused of pushing a 3-year-old boy into Lake Michigan near Navy Pier now faces felony charges days after the incident. As her 3-year-old nephew crawled near the edge of the pier, Victoria Moreno looked around to see if anyone was watching, bent down, scooped the boy up with both hands, and threw him into the water. She then sat down and stared as the child sank beneath the surface. Not once did she scream out for help, call for help, or try and help herself. And when the police arrived, she pretended not to know anything at all about the child. It took 30 minutes before a diver found the boy at the bottom of the lake, and he was in cardiac arrest. Paramedics revived him and took him to the hospital, but at that time it was stated that he was not expected to survive. The child's father is not able to see the child because he too is hospitalized and he's awaiting a heart transplant. I can't even begin to imagine what that man was experiencing, laying in a hospital bed and knowing that he couldn't go see his child who may not survive. Moreno was denied bail despite defense arguments that she suffers from mental illness and may have experienced a breakdown. But the judge called Moreno's actions intentional and brutal and heinous. Her ruling came after a detailed account by prosecutors of Moreno's actions that day. Moreno had slipped out of the family home in Des Plaines with the boy in the morning while another aunt went to wake up the kids. His grandmother went upstairs to change. Moreno stole the keys to the family's truck and snuck out of the residence without anyone knowing that she had left. The other aunt no longer heard the boy talking, and she became alarmed. That's when she noticed Moreno and the boy were gone and that the truck was missing. Moreno wasn't allowed to drive because she takes medication for mental health issues and because of an alarming incident that happened just a week earlier when she drove to the Navy Pier with several children. Instead of viewing that as a fun afternoon with their aunt, the child that was old enough to reach out to the family members to say where they were and sent a pin marker so they could be located and picked up. Before the incident, Moreno initially attempted to take her nephew to the Shed Aquarium, but decided to get him food at Navy Pier. After leaving the restaurant, the boy wandered into a street and was nearly struck by a car coming out of a parking garage. Moreno grabbed the child and began walking with him on the sidewalk close to the water. The child crawled under one of the barrier chains and was on all fours about 3 feet away from the edge and the 6-foot drop of water. Moreno took a hold of the child's foot and pulled him back. Apparently, there were several people in the immediate vicinity. So she then looked around multiple times and waited for people to leave. Looking around once again, when no one was present, she allowed the 3-year-old child to crawl back under the chain toward the edge of the platform, doing nothing. She then climbed over the chain herself, straddled the child, and pushed him off the edge. There happened to be a witness that was walking on the pier with a friend who heard and saw the splash, but didn't exactly see what happened. As soon as she seen the boy in the water, she called 911. He was floating on his back and was just looking up at the sky, and his head was the only thing that was bobbing above the water. By the time we had thrown a life preserver in, he had already gone under the water. There was surveillance footage, and that footage showed Moreno pushing him toward the edge and tossing him in the water. Moreno eventually told officers she brought the 3-year-old to Navy Pier to go on rides. The boy's mother had left her son with his grandmother that day, not with the aunt. And there is unfortunate news since that story had posted that the child did pass away. His name was Josiah Brown, and he was 3 years old, and he was a happy, happy little boy. And unfortunately, he's now gone because of his aunt, who suffered from mental illness. If you have any comments or follow-ups to the story, please leave them down below. Please hit the like button on this video, and if you have not yet done so, please subscribe. Peace out. Bye.